Hey y'all, welcome back to another video. We are going to be doing this set, but first we're actually going to be reviewing an acrylic powder that I have never reviewed on my channel before, so let's hop into it. Okay y'all, so the powder that I'm reviewing today is Valentino Beauty Pure. Now this is a very well-known brand. I have never really reviewed or done an in-depth review of this acrylic powder on my channel. I have had one of their acrylic powders, which was bubblegum or bubble yum I believe it was, and I never even used the whole thing. It was literally the only powder I ever purchased from them just because I always saw it on Instagram, and it was okay. I liked it, but it was very like almost transparent, so I did not use it that often. And the time that it took them to ship that one powder when I first purchased it, which was over a year ago, was just like ridiculous. So I never wanted to purchase from them again. It just turned me off. Shipping is a big thing for me. If you have slow shipping, I just like my nerves are already going to be bad, even just like receiving the product. But anyway, shipping was on point this time. It only took about 5 to 6 days for me to receive my package. I did order 5 things in total. I did get one nail polish because I wanted to try out their polish, and y'all, it's bomb. I'm just, spoiler alert, the polish is so bomb. I did get 3 of like their most talked about or most used and most promoted acrylic powders, which are basically cover powders, and I got one colored powder just so I could show you all exactly how their pigment powders swatch. Well, their pigment acrylic powders, how those swatch. The packaging came very nicely. Nothing was spilled, nothing was open, nothing was spilling out or anything like that. So packaging was perfect. Time of shipping was perfect. I did use Queen 10 discount code. I cannot remember whose Instagram I got that from, but that is somebody's Instagram. I'm just showing you all the packaging because I love the little box that it came in. It was so cute. Just a little added touch. And so yeah, I am gonna go ahead and swatch these colors for you. And oh, I wanted to tell y'all, it costs altogether, I believe I spent under $80. So it was just about $80 with shipping and handling, and with the discount code, which is a little pricey for just 5 things, but I mean, it's Valentino, so expect to pay a pretty penny when you are ordering from Valentino. And right here I'm just showing you all of the colors, and I did not remember what that yellow color was, but it's called Wicked, and it's number 111. And I was giving you a thumbs up to Bad and Bougie because that is like the most hyped up color that they have, or shade of acrylic powder that they have, which is one of their cover powders, and I really did like it once I swatched it. So let's just go ahead and get into the swatches, you guys. So I could already tell how the white polish was going to go on just from how it came out of the bottle. I already knew that it was going to be bomb because it looked like a Madam Glam formula, and Madam Glam is one of my favorite polishes to use. So I already knew that it was going to go on exactly how I wanted it to go on, you guys. It was perfect. The white was truly a perfect white, and it went on very nicely. So I know you're like, all of these colors look the same, Leesa, like why did you buy the same color? But I promise you guys, they are not the same color. I'm gonna put them side by side so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. They are definitely different shades, you guys. We have nudes, pink, and a very light pink. So y'all are gonna see exactly how they swatch. I wanted you all to actually see the packaging as well. Everything came super sealed. This yellow was super bright. I love a good yellow, you guys. So for the swatches, I am going to be using 876 monomer, and we're just going to dive right into it. So right off the bat, we notice that it is polymerizing very quickly, which is a very good sign, you guys. You want your beads to fully polymerize. What it means when a bead is polymerizing is the reaction that the powder is having with the monomer, and it's just going to make your bead very glossy. You want your bead to look very glossy. You do not want it to look powdery. You do not want to lay the bead on your nail while it is still powdery. Make sure that it is fully polymerized. At least that is how I like to do it, and that is how I get a really good application when doing that. I do notice that a lot of people place their beads down like when it's still powdery. Please do not do that. That is not how you are supposed to apply acrylic. Now, yes, it will sometimes polymerize on the nail and everything will go fine, but just to make sure, and especially if you are a beginner, I would not suggest doing that. But anyway, the acrylic powder was very nice, you guys. It laid very nicely. Now, I will say that I did experience the acrylic powder drying a little fast on me, or curing a little fast, I should say. And I don't know if that was because I was using a different monomer. I did not use 876 monomer for my application. I use 876 monomer for this, but when I go into the nails, I do switch up the monomer and it had the same exact effect. So I am thinking that it's just the powder itself that dries a little quickly. So if you are a beginner, just look out for that. But I still think that these are fairly beginner friendly. I would lean more towards advanced, but I will say that I always tell you guys, if you are beginning, be sure to get good powders. And what I mean by that is be sure to get high quality, very well performing powders. You do not want to start off with anything that is going to cure slowly, or at least not too slowly, because those are just going to mess you up in the end. And when you get to powders like this, or powders that are of higher quality, it's going to be very hard for you to manipulate those powders. So go ahead and just start off with the good stuff, and I promise you, you will thank me later. So as y'all can see, this acrylic powder is laying very nicely. I'm having no troubles with it. If I had to compare it to another powder, I would definitely say it's more so like 876 than not polish. I don't know what it is. It's just like a really milky, smooth, buttery acrylic powder. With not polish, I'm a little bit more used to working with their colored powders, so they aren't as milky. I'm not saying that they don't lay beautifully, because they do, but it's just a different consistency that I'm getting from this versus not polish. All three are great powders. I recommend all three to you all. So these are definitely a thumbs up for me, at least the cover powders. I feel like these are the type of powders where if you're trying to practice on getting your speed up, these are going to make you work a little faster. So if you are somebody who is just stagnant in progressing with your speed, I highly recommend these powders, because I think that it will kind of push you to speed up your process with application. I know it did for me. So with me being a little bit more advanced now and like knowing how to manipulate acrylic powders, it was, I won't say it was giving me a run for my money, because it definitely was working just fine and it went on very, very nicely. But it was still drying a little faster. And like I said, I don't know, this is my first time really testing out their acrylic, so I don't know if it was my monomer or maybe because the temperature in my room was a little on the hotter side, but it actually wasn't that hot in my house. So I just personally think that these powders dry a little bit more on the quicker side than some powders that we're used to. However, I personally love that. I love powders that make me work a little faster. I love powders that make me move faster, because it just cuts down time on doing sets. And I just tend to like how those lay better. So yeah, I honestly don't have any complaints for their cover powders. I would definitely purchase again if they came out with something that I just had to have as far as the shades. But as of right now, all the shades that they have for their cover powders I can get from 876 for a little cheaper and for a little bit more acrylic. I do believe that they're what it says on the website when I ordered is that it is 1.5 ounces for $18. So it's not even 2 full ounces for 18, about $20. And from 876 I can get a 2 ounce for $15. So that's just some of the price difference. And Not Polish even has their 2 ounces, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I believe their 2 ounces are $20. And when I go to my local nail supply store, I can get a 2 ounce for $12 there. So yeah, I think that these are nice powders for the price point. I don't know if I would always purchase from them, but there are certain colors that I probably would purchase again. Bad and Bougie was very pretty, but I actually liked Perfect Nude a lot more than Bad and Bougie. Now, to get into this powder, I just want y'all to look at what just happened right there. And I feel like it was too much pigment in the powder, and that's why it picked up like that. So I did have to kind of adjust and put a little bit more monomer in my brush just so I could actually pick up something. So I feel like it was just a lot more pigment than it was acrylic in the powder, and that is why, or in the mixture I should say, and that's why it picked up that way. And even when I placed it on the nail, it didn't swatch how I thought it would, or it did swatch how I thought it would, because everybody always says that the color powders from Valentino are not the best, and I have to agree with this. I don't really recommend their powders unless you are somebody who will really know how to work with them. And what I got from it is that once it started drying down and once it started curing is when I was able to really pull it down without any mess. And mess I mean by like it getting in my brush or anything getting caught in my brush and it just like not laying correctly or not being able to be pulled down. So that was my experience with the color powders. Again, this is my only cover or colored powder that I've ever tried from them. I have never tried any other pigmented powder or pigmented acrylic powder that they have available on their website. So if you have any different opinions about their colored acrylic powders, please let me know down below. But as far as my experience, I would say that they're okay, but it's not something that I would gravitate towards and buying again just because of how it swatched, and it was getting stuck in my brush. I will say that. If you have watched my 876 video, I will link that above right here for you all. I did do a swatch of all the new Island collection acrylic powders, which have a color just like this in it, and they did not swatch anything like that. So just comparing the two, I would definitely stick with 876 on the colored acrylics, but I would definitely suggest that if you are looking to purchase from Valentino, then go ahead and get some of the cover powders. So this video today might be a little longer than my normal videos just because I did an unboxing. I'm actually putting prep in the video, so I usually don't show my prep. I usually don't show filing. I'm going to be showing filing today in the video, and I'm just going to be showing you all application and going over some applications, since we did have actually a lot of comments on my liquid to powder ratio. I had tons and tons and tons of comments on my application, on that video in general. Y'all were really happy that I did that video, and I'm so excited and so happy that I got the response that I did from that video, because I was definitely like worried that it wouldn't be good enough, but you guys gave me so much praise on that video, and I thank y'all so much for making me feel comfortable to even keep that video up, because I was not sure if I was going to be thorough enough. I wasn't sure if I was going to be explaining it correctly. So I'm very, very happy that I was able to help a lot of you all out, and hopefully this video helps you out as well. If you have not seen the liquid to powder ratio video, I would highly suggest that you go view that video first before trying to get tips from this video, just because this video is going to be more so on application, not liquid to powder ratio. So you will need to know how to pick up your beads first in order to lay a good bead or correct bead down on the nail to get a good application, if that makes sense. But I did want to leave this prep in, and I just had to leave this part right here in real time because it was so satisfying clipping this dead cuticle, y'all. Like, I don't do prep a lot on my nails, but when I do, there is so much dead cuticle on my nail just because I don't prep my nails often, and I obviously don't do my nails often enough as far as like keeping nails on. So I usually just skip this and go straight into my pop-off method prep, which is literally just putting on some top coat, matte top coat, and cuticle oil. That is it. As far as what I do to prep my nails, I don't typically do this and I don't do it often. So when it comes time to do it, this is like how extensive I have to work to get my cuticles back right, and it was very much worth it. But I just want to keep that in for you guys, and I want to show you guys this in slow motion just because I was like, ew, like look at my skin. But anyway, you guys, we're gonna be going ahead and we're gonna use Prettiest Pink today. I'm actually going to let you guys enjoy this part of the video, just me doing the thumb in silence, and then I will come back once I get to the pointer finger to explain everything that I do when laying down my beads and how I get my application, how I get it, and what you should do to perfect your application. So just to start off by explaining application, I want to first say that please do not think that everything that you see on Instagram or YouTube up here that we are not editing. Like, please understand that we are not perfect behind this camera. We do mess up. We do have to fill in spots if we don't have enough acrylic in certain areas. Like, everything is not just 1, 2, 3 bead and we're done. Like, I promise you, there's a lot of things that you see on Instagram, whether or not it's like perfect application or perfect cuticle beads, that people will not tell you that they probably messed up on that video and just cut it out. So just make sure that you are not too hard on yourself when it comes to application, especially if you are just starting out, and just practice. And I promise you, like, if you look at my videos from last year until now, you will understand what I'm talking about when I say literally just practice and it's going to come. So don't be scared, like I said, to make mistakes. It is okay for you to make mistakes. It's okay for you to miss a spot on the nail and have to go back in and fill it in. It's okay if your nail is uneven when you do lay the beads. Like, just go back and fill it in. And I'm gonna show you guys exactly what I'm talking about. I did leave the first 2 nails, this one and my middle finger, I believe, are in real time or just a little sped up, and then the rest of them are really sped up. So right here is what I'm talking about. You see how there's just that clear, it was no acrylic powder was there. If you see any clear tip on the side, make sure that you are covering it with acrylic. The reason being is because that part of the nail, if there is no acrylic there, it's clearly not covered and it's not going to be hardened with the acrylic. so it is going to be more easy to break the nail or chip on the side or crack on the side, which can really damage your natural nail or even make that false nail pop off and really like crack or do some type of crazy damage to your natural nail, which you do not want. So always make sure that you're checking side angles, make sure that your acrylic is thick enough but not too thick to where it's unflattering, and yeah, just make sure that you're checking all angles of your nail. So working with this acrylic, which is Valentino, working with this acrylic, I definitely have to use wetter beads because this acrylic does dry a little faster. And if you are not used to that, I would highly suggest just working with wetter beads versus drier beads, just to give you enough of time to bring the acrylic down. One thing that I really want you to do once you get your liquid to powder ratio down, this is going to be very easy for you to follow and do. So you're going to place the bead on the nail, and obviously you just saw me wait until the bead polymerized. So you want the bead to be fully polymerized before placing it on the nail, and you always want to keep your acrylic on the nail, meaning you do not want it to flop over on the sides. If it is, catch it. You need to catch it from side to side. You will always see me going side to side with my acrylic bead and pushing it back and forth until it is centered on my nail. You're going to see me push it up into the cuticle area nice and gently. I'm going to tuck it in the cuticle area, basically like kind of like tucking a blanket, how you do on the sides of your bed. You're going to do that to your cuticle area, and then I'm just going to bring the rest of that bead down. Now you see me applying a lot of pressure with this one because this is how fast that acrylic was drying on me. And I do think maybe it has something to do with the temperature in my room as well, but this acrylic was drying a little bit fast on me, and I was trying to take it a little slower just to show you all what I was doing in the video, but it was okay. Nonetheless, I did get it figured out, and it still applied very, very nicely. As you can see, I was filling in any gaps. That is what I was using those tiny beads for, just to fill in some gaps. Now, if you're going to take a bigger bead, the reason why we place the bead on the nail and then pull it down, if you ever see some nail techs doing that, that is so it will cover majority of the nail of where we want it to cover. I hope that makes sense. If you notice the first bead that I placed down on this nail, you can rewind it back, but the first bead that I placed on this nail right here, I placed it down and then I gradually just pulled it down. And you have to have the perfect, or I won't say perfect, you have to have the correct liquid to powder ratio for your bead to be able to pull the powder down that way, and you have to be working with a really good powder. But like I said, I explained all of that stuff in my liquid to powder ratio video, so you'll get a better grasp of what I'm trying to say in this video and what I mean by being able to pull that bead down. And when you pull that bead down, it's going to cover majority of your nail, so you won't have to keep dipping back into your powder, having to get so many beads. Now, I do not have a cap on how many beads you should or should not use. I feel like however many beads it takes you to perfect that nail is however many beads that you are going to need. Everybody is different. I'm not the nail tech that does 1 or 2 bead methods. Now, I will practice them just to see if I can do it, or just to get myself familiarized with that, and maybe to try to speed my time up or get my time a little faster. But on the daily, I typically don't do a 1 or 2 bead method. I will just go in with my first bead, and then usually if they're longer, I would do about 3 beads, and then at the end of those 3 beads, I would just fill in gaps. So I do know that this video was very sped up, and I did that on purpose just because I did not want to drag this video out any longer than what it had to be, seeing as though I had so much going on with this video. But I did want to just give you a little insight of how I do my application. And if you want a more in-depth video, I do have more in-depth videos on actual application. If you just search my name and search application, then you will be able to find that video. But if you don't want to do that, I will link everything down in the description box for you all, and I will have some videos that you can reference to show you all exactly how I do my application, and it will definitely be slowed down in those videos. I do have a real-time application video if you want to go check that out, but like I said, I will have everything linked down in my description box for you all, so you can go check that out on your own. I also left in some of my cuticle sealing. I typically don't leave this in either, but I did leave some of the video of me sealing my cuticles, and I just use a 5-in-1 bit. This is a Pana. I typically use a fine grit Pana 5-in-1 bit, and I've been using this for a very long time. I don't find anything else to seal my cuticles the way that a 5-in-1 bit does. I know a lot of people use sanding bands, but I just could not get with that. Like, I don't know how people use sanding bands to seal the cuticles. I feel like it's too harsh, and I also just feel like it's not precise enough. So I don't know, maybe it will work on wider nail beds, but if you can master sealing cuticles with a sanding band, by all means, do you, boo-boo. But I can't get with it, y'all. Like, a 5-in-1 bit is the perfect size for me to seal my cuticles. It is, I don't know, it's just what I'm used to and what I go for. So this was very, very last minute. Typically, I would not put foils just on top of the nail like this if I'm not gonna do the foil on the whole nail. So what I wanted to do was I wanted to do a Dior foil ombre, and if I would have thought about this before, I would have done the ombre with the acrylic going over the Dior foil. However, I thought of this too late in the game and I had to finesse something. So I was like, I was literally just watching Todd Beauty's video of her doing like this pearl set. It's like pearls and some AB crystals that she had, and it was so pretty. Like, I think she's done a set like that before, but I watched that video again, and I just love that set. I think that set is super, super pretty. Very, it's actually very simple to do, and like just a really elegant look. So I was like, well, what if I do the ombre that she did with the pearls and the AB crystals on this finger, but I'll have the ombre going down into the foil. So that came out super, super cute, y'all. Like, I can't wait to show y'all exactly what I did. So first, I put the nail foil transfer glue, or whatever you call it, foil glue on the nail. I went ahead and cured that for 30 seconds. I took my hand out of the lamp, and then I went ahead and put the foil on. And y'all, when I say I was scrubbing those foils for a very, very long time, I promise you this is sped up, so it didn't look that long. But y'all, I wanted them to stick, so I did make sure that they were on there, and I made sure that I pressed it in the middle first, and then I pressed the foil on the sides, just so I could get an even layer all over and nothing would be wrinkled or anything. And that worked perfectly for me. They came off very, very nicely, as y'all saw. And yeah, they went on really, really well. This was like my first time doing foils, and it actually came out how I wanted it to come out. My foils never come out the way that I want them to come out. So I was like, thank you, God, for these foils coming out the right way the first time, because I did not feel like doing it over and over again just for this video, y'all. So after you have the foil laid, you're just gonna take some pearls, if you have some, or whatever little stones that you want to do. You can even do this with flowers, you guys. You're just gonna take some stones, and you're gonna take some pearls, and you're basically just gonna scatter them. Now, I'm not gonna lie, if you do not have an eye for patterns, then this actually might be a little hard for you. I know when you look at it, you're like, no, that's super, super simple and super easy. But honestly, it's really not that. It's not that simple if you don't have an eye for, you know, like patterns or designs, because you have to arrange the stones and the pearls in a way that looks nice. Because if you don't, if you're just putting a whole bunch of pearls on one side and you're just putting a whole bunch of stones on the other side, it's gonna look weird. Like, it's not going to have the ombre effect that you want it to have. So just make sure that everything is kind of evened out, but not like, not matchy. Like, you basically just want it to do, like, think of raindrops. Think of like how raindrops fall and they just scatter. Like, you have some big ones, you have some little ones. So I don't know if I'm making sense, y'all, but y'all probably understand what I'm saying. I'm just not I'm not executing it the correct way in this voiceover, but basically just make it look cute. Okay, make it look cute, don't make it look weird. So that was such bad advice. I'm sorry, y'all. So moving on, we're going to place down some more foil glue. You can use foil glue, you can use top coat, base coat, whatever you want to use to adhere this glitter. It's going to adhere as long as you cure it, and it should be fine, honestly. But I went ahead and just used some foil glue since it is really sticky, and I knew that the glitter would stick very, very well to it. And then I just put on some of this like chrome type glitter that I had, and I went ahead and cured it for about 30 seconds, and then I took it out the lamp. And after you take it out the lamp, you're just gonna dust it all off from around your finger, wherever it was sticking to. If you need to wipe your finger with some alcohol, then go ahead and do that. It will not disturb what you have on your nail. Just try not to wipe too hard on your nail and it should be fine. So I am going to be using the Valentino white that I just got, and as you can see, I was being very careful not to touch anything with this applicator because I did not want to mess it up, and I plan to use this for Frenchies, so I just did not want to contaminate that bottle whatsoever. I have other whites that I can use for just small detail or nail art, but I did want to test this one out just for video purposes and so y'all can see exactly how it works. So I will say that the white nail polish from Valentino is definitely a must-have. I would definitely repurchase this excuse me, I was about to say acrylic powder. I would definitely repurchase this gel polish. I think it's a really, really nice gel polish. It's very opaque. You do not need 2 coats of this at all. The only reason you see me going over and over is because I'm trying to get my lines straight. I'm trying to get my lines a little thicker. I always have a little issue doing V-cuts or V outlines, I should say, or any outline, because I want it to show on top of the nail. And that is why you see me placing my hand this way now, just because I need to see from every angle whether or not it's showing on top of my nail. I hope that makes sense. You're gonna have to kind of bring the V inwards to make it seem like it's on top of the nail so that you can see the actual outline, versus not being able to see it because it's too far down on the sides. So I hope that makes sense. Y'all probably know exactly what I'm talking about. Sometimes when I explain stuff, I feel like I'm not making sense, but y'all understand me perfectly. So I'm gonna just leave it at that. So as you can see from this angle, I'm just looking and I wanted to make sure that the white gel polish was sitting on top of the nail so that I could see it when my hand is just facing straight like that. And yeah, I just want to make sure that I'm able to see both lines on either side of my nail when my hand is just straight out in front of me. So I am going ahead and top coating it, and I did also do the pointer finger the same exact way. I just did not show it on camera because it was literally the same thing. I just went ahead and outlined it with white polish. So now I am taking Perfect Black by Madame Glam, which, like I said, Valentino and Madame Glam have about the same consistency. So if you are used to Madame Glam polishes and you are looking for some new polishes or just some different colors, I would definitely go ahead and check out Valentino, because I feel like their polishes are pretty much the same opaqueness and thickness, pretty much the same consistency. So I would highly recommend those because they work for me. So this print right here didn't really have a name. I just was doing some type of design, something to, honestly y'all, I was winging it. Like at this point I was winging it. I just needed something black to go on both of these nails, and this is what I came up with. It honestly looks like individuals, like eyelashes. It looks like individual eyelashes. If y'all know, y'all know what I'm talking about, because that's what it looks like, but it was still cute. So we went with it. And yeah, after this, I'm literally just going to top coat the nails, and that is going to be it for this whole design. I thought this was super easy, super cute, and there was really nothing to it. I know it was a lot of explaining in this video, but that is just because I went over different things in this video. But as far as the nail art, super easy. You can definitely do this at home. Do not overthink it. It is not as hard as it looks. And your application, if you are struggling with application, like I said, make sure that you go check out some of the videos that I have on application. Make sure that you check out my liquid to powder ratio so that you can get your beads down packed before you try to attempt application. And yeah, just make sure that you like this video, make sure that you are subscribed, and I will see y'all in the next one. I love y'all so much. Mwah. Bye.